The scene replays in slow motion. Your child spills juice everywhere, and before you can think, the words fly out. How could you be so careless in that tone? The one that echoes through decades. The one you swore you'd never use. Your stomach drops. Because in this moment, you're not just a parent. You're suddenly the child watching your own parent react the same way. This isn't déjà vu. This is your childhood operating your adulthood like a puppeteer pulling invisible strings. Neuroscience reveals an uncomfortable truth. Your brain downloaded its parenting software before you turned 7. Those middle-of-the-night cries when no one came? The way anger filled the room after dad lost his job? The unspoken rule that big kids don't cry? These weren't just memories. They were blueprints being etched into your neural pathways. A groundbreaking 2023 study in Developmental Psychology tracked 3 generations of families and found 68% of parenting behaviors are unconscious reenactments, including the exact patterns people most want to change. Attachment theory explains why we parent in circles. If your caregivers soothed your tantrums with hugs, your adult brain instinctively knows how to comfort. But if they met your distress with, "Stop crying or I'll give you something to cry about," your nervous system learned that vulnerability equals danger. Now when your child melts down, your body reacts before your thinking brain engages. University of Minnesota researchers call this emotional echo parenting, where your child's behavior triggers childhood memories you can't consciously access, but your body remembers. The fallout shows up everywhere. You promise to be patient, then explode over spilled milk just like mom. You freeze during marital conflict, replicating dad's stonewalling. You feel inexplicable rage when your child clings, if your need for comfort was punished. Marriage becomes a hall of mirrors reflecting childhood wounds. The Gottman Institute discovered that 73% of marital conflicts stem from triggered childhood patterns, not actual disagreements. That irrational overreaction when your partner forgets the groceries? It might be your 8-year-old self reliving the time your alcoholic father forgot to pick you up from school. Again. The way you shut down during arguments? Possibly your nervous system reenacting the survival tactic that kept you safe when your parents' fights turned volatile? But here's the revolutionary truth buried in the research. Your past doesn't have to be your parenting or marriage destiny. The same neuroplasticity that wired these patterns can rewire them. It starts with becoming a detective of your own reactions. That intense emotional flare-up when your spouse criticizes your driving? Track it. Does it mirror how your perfectionist mother reacted to mistakes? That overwhelming urge to fix everything for your fragile child? It might be your inner child overcompensating for the support you never received. Breaking the cycle requires 3 paradigm shifts. First, recognize the ghosts in the room. When you feel that familiar rage, shut down, shame rising, pause and ask, is this really about my child's behavior, my partner's comment, or is this my past talking? UCLA's mindfulness studies show this simple question creates enough space between stimulus and response to change ingrained patterns. Second, practice rupture and repair. Harvard's Center on the Developing Child found that children develop resilience not from perfect parenting, but from parents who acknowledge mistakes. Try, "I'm sorry I yelled." Grown-ups lose their temper sometimes too, but that doesn't mean you deserve it. This models emotional accountability while rewriting your neural scripts. Third, create new family rituals that consciously disrupt old patterns. If your family avoided difficult emotions, institute feelings time at dinner where everyone shares one hard and one happy moment from their day. If you grew up with volatile conflict, implement a pause button rule where any family member can call a 10-minute break during heated moments. For marriages, research from the Journal of Family Therapy shows couples who understand each other's childhood wounds argue more productively. Try this reframe. When you raise your voice, my childhood panic button gets pressed. Could we try a timeout when things get intense? This isn't making excuses. It's giving your relationship an instruction manual for each other's emotional wiring. The most transformative tool? Compassionate reparenting of yourself. Stanford studies on self-compassion reveal that adults who acknowledge their upbringing with kindness rather than shame break cycles faster. When you hear your father's harsh words coming out of your mouth, instead of spiraling into guilt, try, "That's the script I was given. Now I get to write a new one." Every time you breathe through a tantrum instead of replicating your parents' rage, voice a need in your marriage instead of stonewalling, comfort your child in a way you never received. you're doing more than parenting or partnering. You're performing generational alchemy, turning the lead of inherited patterns into gold for those who come after you. The science is clear. We parent and love how we were parented and loved until we become aware. And in that awareness lies the power to change not just your family's present, but its future. The cycle breaks here, with you, in this ordinary, extraordinary moment of choosing differently.